It's one of the most beautiful places in Kenya, and it is also the port city, Mombasa. That's where we are right now. But it's also become infamous over the last couple of years because of terrorism. What started off as piracy has now grown into homebred radicalization. And that's exactly what we want to address today. Is it still a problem? And if so, why? So we're going to begin with Mr. Alfred here. He says he is a youth leader. Do you think that radicalization is still a problem in this county?
The reality is radicalization cannot fully be eliminated. What can be done is, of course, reducing it to a certain level. Because the unfortunate thing is many of us look at radicalization from only the terrorism angle. But again, radicalization, if you adopt extreme beliefs when it comes to your political views, you're also radicalized in a way. If you adopt extreme beliefs when it comes to religion, you're also in a way radicalized. So if you look at it from all those angles, you'll realize that radicalization in itself cannot be fully eliminated. The government is trying its best to include youths, especially in all the initiatives that it does. Because are
you feeling included as a youth member? Are you guys feeling included? Okay, so Alfred, the youth leader, says that there is youth involvement and inclusion with government affairs. And I'm asking, who here feels included? Do you guys feel like you're part of what's happening in this county? Yeah? Well, that's silence. I'm not sure what that means. Somehow. They somehow feel included. Yeah, so does somehow feeling included make you feel like you're somehow solving this problem?
The reality is inclusion is a process. And as youths, I would say, where we were 5 years ago, you cannot compare to where we are currently. If you look at the different initiatives, currently you can even sit with the county, like whatever is happening now today, the county commissioner can come to Mashinani and share a platform with all of us. Before, it could not have been the case before. It was a bit difficult, even accessing some of the offices. Currently, you will find that even if you have an idea, although it is not fully supported, but at least somebody somewhere might give you a listening ear. Okay. So for some of us, I would say it is at least a step in the right direction.
Okay, so the youth representative says we're trying, but I know someone here who is not very happy with what's happening, particularly from government side, security analyst Abdi. So you obviously don't share this opinion based on the many papers and interviews you've given.
I agree with the panelist that it is on the decline. But we are not yet out of the woods. Terrorism in the action normally hibernate. When they know the government is in action, they take a low profile. That doesn't mean that they are out of their services. They make you forget the moment you think that they are down at their lowest is when they hit you down. But at the same time, some of the actions that the government take, injures or hurts some few people who thinks they are not part of this problem.
Can you please lay that out for me? Give me an example.
Well, you and as well as everybody here has heard of youth disappearing. When these youth disappear, always they are blamed on the government. And the government has not done any effort, maybe to retrace or do an effort to bring them back so that they can say, yes, it wasn't us. This is what was happening. It is being blamed on us, but it wasn't us. So if every time a youth disappear is blamed on the government and nothing is done, that youth just disappear that way, that family, that relative, that, the people who are left behind will not be friendly to that government. Definitely, there will be nursing grievances that can be exploited by the terrorist to recruit or to force those people into that action.
Okay. So, Mr. County Commissioner, coming to you, Mr. Abdi is telling us unatupaka mafuta kwa mgongo wa chupa, that the root causes of terrorism have not been addressed and it will always resurge. What do you say to that?
The root causes are being addressed and will always be addressed. He has only raised one factor of the many factors that lead youths to join violent extremism or to be radicalized. The issue of youth disappearance, this is an issue that has been discussed at length. We said that there are three ways with which this issue should be addressed. One, we have independent policing oversight authority, which is conducting investigations into some of these cases. 2, there is the judicial inquiry whenever such cases happen. 3, there is also the police internal affairs unit. So all these avenues are open. These are constitutional means through which, if there are such cases, they should be addressed. But you should not use such cases to try and imply that these things will breed radicalism or make most Jew youths to get into the violent extremism.
But the question is, and for everyone here, do you trust your government? Do you trust the police? Do you trust? You can't answer. You can't answer a question that's not meant for you. Yeah. So do you trust your institutions? Would you happily go to them if anyone approached you to maybe try and recruit you? Someone is tapping me at the back. I hope you have something to say.
What I'll say concerning the current government. It's true that when things happen is when you see the police intervene. So
they're reacting rather than being proactive.
Yeah, they should be proactive, as in to make the incident not to happen. It will be much more better if you prevent something rather than coming there and say it's because on the television we are told that we suspect it's a terrorism thing. But they suspected to mean it was at that juncture is when they knew it was terrorism. But if they would, if Mr. Police Commissioner is saying there are independent bodies that are down the grassroots doing such incidents. So if only the people concerned would have given information prior, then occasion like that will not have happened.
Any one person who has been recruited or who used to work for these terror organizations, is anyone aware of such a person, or are we just talking about phantom ideas? Huh? Unajua mtu?
I know nobody, but I know nobody, but I know nobody. I know nobody, but what I can say, people are known because by the end of the day, terrorism imefanyika. By the end of the day, it's almost every year.
Okay, so hold on. I really want us to keep it real here, guys. I really want us to keep it real. This gentleman is saying that we are all responsible for what's happening because tunawajua hatusemi. He's saying that the police commissioner here is not collaborating properly with organizations such as the one the Imam is running. Yeah? Do we know what's happening here? Can we speak openly, please? I see a hand.
I will say that things have changed. But I wouldn't comment on what he has said before I talk about the level of involvement of the youth. Mm-hmm. Like he's saying, let's be real. The level of involvement of the youth into the decision making. Let's not fake that when you call me to a meeting, you have involved me. We will say that it has been a process, yes, in involving the youth. But as youth of Mombasa, we feel we are not yet there. And if it's a journey we are starting, then we are late to start.
But what other level of involvement do you want? Because I think I want specifics so that help me understand.
Yes. When I mean about the level of involvement is there are decisions which take place in this county. There are decisions which takes place in this country. When you would say that I contributed to a certain level, then I need to sit at the decision-making table. Let's not attend the forums like today. We just come and we say we are involved. Involvement goes further in terms like, for example, they have talked about a convention which took part the other day in Mombasa. When we are celebrating about a one-year convention on what was happening in terms of countering violence and extremism, there are pillars which, for example, Mombasa County has done a county action plan. You feel that there is a pillar which all the organizations which are working around Mombasa in terms of countering violence and extremism, they have a pillar in it which will be tackling the issues of the youth. Now, when you call me on the table and ask me, what are the youths going through? What are some of the issues youths need to be addressed? What drivers do you think they are driving youths to join Al-Shabaab? At that level, when we are discussing that, I'll be able to provide, because I know I'm part of the youths who are being recruited, or I'm part of the youths in a constituency which is at risk of being recruited. Because when you're in Mombasa, everyone is at risk.
Okay, so it's sounding to me like we all have different parts of this conversation that we're working towards, but they're very disconnected. Imam, I mean, religion is one of the best ways to bring people together. Are you able to do this at the different mosques that you're leading?
Yeah, kama walivyosema kwamba tunaweza kufanya katika misikiti tofauti na kuwakusanya maimamu kuzungumza na wao na kuelezea ule usawa na ukweli uko vipi kuweza kuwaokoa vijana katika janga kama hili ambalo kwamba wameingizwa kwa namna ambayo kwamba sio ya kisheria au ya kidini. Kwa kushirikiana kwetu maimamu tofauti na viongozi wa dini tofauti tumeweza kupiga hatua kubwa katika jambo kama hili tukishirikiana na serikali kuu pamoja na serikali ya county.
Okay, there's a gentleman here who's been wanting to talk for a while. Let's hear what he has to say.
No, I wanted to address the issue of communication because there is that you can feel or sense that there is no trust between the police or the administration and the local mwananchi. And a lot of people fear the information that I take to the police station. Am I safe? Because at times there are networks that some few corrupt government officials leak information out. So you fear when I go and say this, tomorrow somebody comes and follows me up.
Okay, Mr. Police County Commissioner, I don't know if you heard that, but there were a lot of accusations that were leveled against the police.
We have all that he's talking about. All these people know how to report to us through electronically. These days you can do WhatsApp, you can do Instagram, there is Mulika Mwizi. There are so many of those many platforms that you can use to report information. And again, during the last week, the last 1 month, the month of February, when we were before the conference, we went round every sub-county. We had a meeting of youths, specific youth only. All the 6 sub-counties, I personally spent time there, 3 hours talking to the youths before the convention. Now, here I am today. You have called me and I'm a county commissioner. I have left my office to come and hear what the youths are saying. What else do you require?
Well, Alfred. Alfred.
I'm accessible. How can I not?
Okay.
Tomorrow you call me, I will come. And
All right. Mr. Police County Commissioner has asked, what more do you require?
Okay, as a youth, the county commissioner just mentioned that he has been to several sub-counties discussing the issue of radicalization. But then, who are these youths? Because we see that I come from an area that a youth doesn't know there is a forum going on, a very remote area. What do we expect from those people? Huh?
So you want better communication.
Exactly.
Okay, and there's a lady here who's, hey, she's writing notes, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting serious.
Okay. Okay, I can just say that we are blaming the law enforcement for nothing. We are the people who knows the returnees, and we know where we can find them. So why don't we work together with the law enforcement instead of us blaming them? Because that's why we had this convention I think 1 week back with the theme tujihusishe, whereby ilikuwa ni tujihusishe the community with the county government with the law enforcement. So let us not blame the law enforcement at all. It is upon us, the community, to work together with the law enforcement.
Okay, let me ask the security analyst, what is the balance between community participation, government and police force and religious bodies? Where does our responsibility fall? How is it spread out? Or how should it be spread out?
The security chief could be doing a lot of good work in the county because of late we are having a good harmony with the people with the security system.
But he's saying that he's doing it. He said, I've come here, I'm listening to you, I've spoken to other people, and yeah. So let me ask you the same question here.
This is why I'm congratulating him. I've said he's doing a very good job.
Okay.
And out of the other senior guys, he's the only one who left his office, left his busy schedule and came here to talk to the youth. We congratulate him for that. But he cannot solely, do everything.
I want to talk to my colleague here that now things are cool. And this is the time we are working so hard to try and raise the bar of awareness. It doesn't mean that if I have not talked to you, that I have not talked to the youths in those very other remote areas. I am on radio stations, FM, at least twice every month, discussing violent extremism. So we are in touch with the youths, and perhaps those who have not reached to, we will be there, we will reach up to them. We may not reach everybody, but we are trying to reach each one of us. And now they are very active in trying to give out information that will help us protect our country.
The gentleman who spoke to me earlier said one of the biggest problems is perhaps not even intelligence gathering, it's not even people reporting others, it is corruption. That force itself has been permeated and penetrated with these same violent extremists you're trying to target.
Correct, we have that challenge, but that's why we have embraced technology. What I'm saying is that give that information to responsible officers.
Okay, so we've just heard that the responsibility now falls back to the community, to the young people, that you've been given all the resources. The police commissioner has opened his doors for you. So what can you do as a young person from Mombasa to try and eliminate this problem?
Okay, thank you, Edith. The reality is, first, understanding radicalization from this perspective, whereby you will find that many of us as youths, we are easy targets because of one very simple reason also. You'll realize that many youths join all these different groups because of a sense of belonging. You will realize that the current, I'm sorry to point fingers kwa wazee, as in the adults, most of them do not, the inclusion part of it, most of them, yes, we will share tables, yes, we will talk, but there are unwritten laws of survival of life that we are never taught, most of us. We have, I'm sorry to say, religious leaders who are also not ready to bring up young religious leaders. And that is the reality. So out of that, if our shehs and our pastors and our religious leaders, God takes them, who takes over? The religious side of it. You understand? We have different leaders who are not ready to pick Alfred as he is and teach him how to become a leader, so that when you go, Alfred can take over. So out of that, radicalization will still be a challenge in a way. So to me, inclusion is part of it.
Imam, we've been told that one of the problems is religious leaders not grooming younger ones. Is that generational gap? But I know that you actually teach religious studies in one of your mosques. Now, how important is that in a community like this one?
Naweza kusema ni kwamba ni kweli kama alivyosema mwenzangu, ni kwamba wale viongozi wa zamani au viongozi wa kidini, wale wazee walikuwa hawataki kuwahusisha vijana. Na ni moja katika research tulifanya kama Council of Imams, tukaona hiyo ndio sababu. Ndio tukaweza kuzungumza na management ya misikiti pamoja na imam, kwa sababu vijana na wao wana umuhimu katika jamii, waweze kuhusishwa. Wako vijana wa Kiislamu na vijana wa Kikristo ambao wengine ni mashekhe na wengine ni imamu na mapasta pia wako.
So, do we have a program for those who want to be actually a de-radicalization program, if we can call it that?
Yes. There is a program that was based on an amnesty that was issued by the cabinet secretary. And that amnesty included, once they surrender, then they are disengaged. After they are disengaged, they are de-radicalized. The process of de-radicalization takes place. They are cancelled. After they are cancelled, they are rehabilitated. After rehabilitation, they are reintegrated back to the society.
Have you personally witnessed anyone who has come from, based on your steps, returning to reintegration?
Yes, I have. During that amnesty, yes, we have rehabilitated so many of them, and they are very good citizens. In fact, during the conference, we had one who gave a testimony, and he said now how he's helping youths to change. And that is what we need, because if you are able to say, look, this is what I was, it is just like somebody who has found Christ, for Christians. You just tell your story, and that's how it goes. So,
okay, so there are even witnesses in this church of de-radicalization, but you seem very suspicious of this.
The county commissioner told us about one. Where are the rest? Does he know where they are? Does the government know where they are as we speak? You know, this is the most important thing. Those people, they might have seen difficulties in that place and came back, you know, but they might be nursing that thinking still. And they can infect many other healthy, youth and groups in a way, without me and the county commissioner or any other person knowing.
But
we will be wondering, we will be surprised, seeing that every now and then group joining, Al-Shabaab and doing all that. Who is recruiting for them? At time, the returnees could be doing this. They can be the ones who are poisoning our youths.
Okay, so Mr. County Commissioner, is it fair to expect that the police will be on one person for the rest of their life because of something they did?
No, I said that there is a legal framework that is being put in place for such kind of person, because that is one approach. That is just one aspect of the whole fight on terror. So that is just one aspect, and there are legal framework that is being put in place so that at what point the data, the whatever, all that can be availed. But there is a law, there is a framework that is in place.
Okay, I want to give a few more people the opportunity to say what they think about this matter before we close, yeah?
The government should also come with very nice programs for the young people on the ground. And we understand that young people love arts, young people love sports and all that. If they can come up with programs that are very effective to the young people. You find that, like Mombasa, good example, Mombasa, there are places that are notorious, like let's say Kisauni, Likoni, Majengo. You find that there are places that normal targeted. So if they can come up with these programs, and look at those areas. When you go to places like Kisauni, yes, we understand the bad boys and all that, but you find that the 1, 2, 3 boys who are doing nice things, pick them, let them be ambassadors. Use them now to empower other young people there. Okay. So I think that this is what should be done.
All right. Oh, you have a solution. Okay.
Yeah. I think, first of all, we need to agree that violent extremism has to be a collective responsibility. Then, 2, I also feel like if we must get this right, then we must start the conversation from a point of, as a young person, I have to understand first, why is it important for me to be at the center of it all? Yes. Because as we stand right now, there are people who might not know what this violent extremism is, because according to them, really? Yes. So we must really start the conversation from making that young person understand why is it important for me to be part of this. Mm-hmm. And then it then means even whoever will design the project, whether it's the national government, county government, can we include the young people right from the planning process, so that, the young people journey with that process and also have ownership.
So inclusion of the youth at every stage, and also civic education. Exactly. There were some other solutions.
The county commissioner has just said there is a group of youth that are de-radicalized. Actually, I didn't know that. From where I come from, there was once a billboard of the youth that are wanted, that are dangerous. Why don't we erect a billboard of the youth that are de-radicalized? They are champions. Take them to schools, let them speak to the young youth. I mean, being de-radicalized is a very big thing. We don't know them. We are not even aware. So there should be champions, mentors of this young youth down here.
That's an interesting suggestion. Turn the villains into heroes. Yeah. Okay, so as we come to a close, I'd like to give our core team or our core members an opportunity to give us an idea of how radicalization can be eliminated, not just in Kenya, but actually globally. Abdi.
I think the solution to this is, one, the government to deal with the action of terrorism with both the hard way and the soft way. Okay. The soft approach and the hard approach. Yeah. Hard approach to hit the target. Mm-hmm. Soft approach to deal with the victims and the society.
Okay. Mr. County Commissioner, solutions. Ones that you are not already implementing.
The communities must be sensitized so that they raise the bar on violent extremism. The communities must be able to say, no, this is not what we want. This is wrong. We know you are a problem. What you are telling us is not right. If you are telling us that, for example, that if I blow myself up, that I will go and get some or paradise. Why don't you go to paradise yourself? So the moment the community is asking some of these hard questions, the narratives that we hear, that is the time we will win the war against violent extremism.
Okay, thank you very much. Imam.
Solution ni kwamba tukijua tusifiche, tuzungumze na tueleze wanaohusika kuweza kutaka lile jambo, tutaona yote yatakwisha tukiwa wazalendo na wapenda nchi yetu.
Thank you, Imam. And finally, Mr. Alfred.
Let us support each other. If you realize that there's a fellow youth somewhere and the way he's behaving is being radicalized, find a way to, even if it is just talking to them or assisting them in one way or the other. Because sitting back and waiting to pinpoint or report them somewhere, whereas you could have assisted them somewhere, is also wrong. And to our religious leaders, please, our religious leaders, we love you as youths, and many of us trust religious leaders. That is why there are certain things youths can never do in churches or in mosques, because we respect those areas. Take up your role, because you are sleeping giants as youths. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who joined me right here at Fort Jesus. Oh, I'm getting claps. So this was a very symbolic place. I did not mention at the beginning that a major war was fought here between the Portuguese and the Omanis on behalf of Kenyans. And it's right here that we're trying to figure out how to win this new battle of our generation, radicalization. Well, we've heard the solutions, and thank you all for watching.